Well, I know we've kept it fairly positive and upbeat, but I'm just wondering, is there anything about the screenwriting process that you hate?
Yes.
Okay.
The beginning.
Why? Really, the beginning, okay. What is it about the beginning?
You know what? The process of just starting to write is so challenging that I often come up with the title first. It's so backwards. Like, I don't know any screenwriter who, they're like literally I've written a whole screenplay from a title that inspired me. There was a title called The Big Empty. A friend of mine had a song called The Big Empty, and I was like, that's a great title for a script, The Big Empty. So I literally wrote The Big Empty and thought, okay, what's it gonna be about? And then I came up with the whole script for what this was gonna be about. So I think it's just getting started. I'm not someone who does, even though my very first successful screenplay was almost like doing an outline, it was like a stream of consciousness treatment that I wrote. And then I realized after writing like 20 or 30 pages, you should just write the script. It's right here. You should just write the script. But that's because I had been marinating on it for so long. I could just do that. But when it comes to outlines, which is a process that a lot of script writers do, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. I really admire people who really know how to outline and write their scripts from there. Things are just a little bit more organic for me. But I can write like a beginning, a middle, and an end, but it's usually about 2 or 3 pages of stuff and a character breakdown. I think I just went on a tangent. What was your actual question?
Well, so you're saying that what you hate most is starting. And, you know, I'm thinking of how some people, let's take roommates. Some are messy, some are neat. Do you think that there's just some people that they get to the final destination the same way, but they just have their own way of doing it, whereas a teacher might look at it and say, oh, that's bad, that's wrong, but it still works out?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you don't like to do the outlining, but you
still
still get to the
I still
end
get
result.
it done, but I often feel like if I had the, I don't even know what it is, whatever it is that screenwriter has that makes them sit down and discipline do the outline,
Yeah.
I think that my job might be a little bit easier, but I'm just saying that because it seems like that works really well. It's like the studio way of doing things too. Like TV, you have to give an outline and then you write the script. And I'll have to tell you a funny story about that. So I was in the Walt Disney Fellowship, and I was in the screenwriting version of it. They don't have the screenwriting arm anymore. They just have the TV arm, believe it or not. I've been trying to get them to get the other one back. But I wrote a television script for them. And at the time, it was The Practice, and My Wife and Kids were the TV shows that were on television that I wanted to write for. And they were like, okay, so you have to pitch us your story, do an outline, once we like the story, and then write the script, right? So I pitched them the story, they liked it, right? And I was just like, what's this outline thing? I don't know what this is. I literally went and I wrote the script, then I wrote the outline from the script.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then I gave them the outline, and they're like, this is great. They made a couple of tweaks for the outline. So I implemented the tweaks in the outline, and then I just went and implemented the tweaks in the script. But the script was already done.
So it was just like a formality.
It was a formality because that's
yeah.
the way that they had to do it. We had to do
Right.
it that way, but it didn't make organic sense to my process,
Sure.
which is weird, but you know.
Have you had people try to rein you in and make you do it that way? Because it sounds like it's still working though. That's just what you do.
I definitely have, and when I have to, I will, but it's very uncomfortable. I feel like my organic process is just different. I understand why it works for people, and I understand why they do it, but my body, my brain just goes, just write it, it's right here, just write it. What is this outline stuff?
Right.
You're wasting time. Write the script.
Some people make their bed every morning, and some people, 20 years have gone by, never once.
Right.
So, and they still make it home again.
Right? That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
You know? So do you find yourself squirming to get out of starting? and then
oh yeah,
finding
you know,
excuses.
clean house and spring cleaning and
Right.
you know, reading books that have been on the shelf for years. It's like, I'm going to read this book. I've been planning to read it for 10 years. I'm going to read it now. And I'm like, really? You need to be writing. What are you doing? But yeah, you do everything to get out of it. But once I'm in there, you know, that's the crazy part. It's like, once you're in there, you're in there. Just get in there. But that's easier said than done.
But what do you think it is then when you've like had enough and you're like, you know what, I'm procrastinating? Well, how do you get yourself in there?
Well, this is a saying that I've said to my friends. Procrastination with writing, procrastination is part of the process. And I truly believe that, because I think that just like birthing a baby, you know, there's stuff going on while you're procrastinating. It's not like you're just not doing anything. That's why the writing process, I think, is so kind of mystical in a way, because there is stuff happening. If you go take a walk on a beach or you're just hanging out or whatever, you are procrastinating, but you're not, because there's two things happening. It's like a parallel thing going on. On the surface, it looks like you're doing this, but your brain and your body, all this stuff is happening that is going to be useful for you when you start writing. It's just preparing you, gearing you up to write. That's all it's doing. And I've realized that. So I really kind of, you know, I lighten up on myself about it, because I believe that procrastination is, I call it procrastination, but procrastination in the way that we're talking about is part of the process.